All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All You Can Eat Chelsea, episode 238. And we're not here to F about today. We're here to talk serious. We're here to talk about the foolishness that's taken place over a week. Literally last week, we were here, as Eunice would say, lovely jubbly. We were all giddy. We were all happy. We're looking forward to these fixtures, thinking, yeah, hey, lads, you remember that scene, that AC Milan, all these players lined up and Ronaldinho is doing these ones, right? That like all of these ballers lined up, that video that we all seen. We all felt like that, licking our lips like Leeds, Bournemouth, Atalanta. Yeah, we'll have some fun. But not to be. Eunice, brother, how you doing?
Yeah, we're here.
Enough said.
Today's going to be depressing. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, get ready. Get ready. I'm good. Aside from outside of football, I'm good. In football, I'm not good. Yesterday.
In football, I'm not good. Matisse, Armani.
Yesterday was painful.
Yeah,
doing,
bruh.
You're not feeling like Armani today, are you? You're not feeling like Armani today.
I'm still shocked, bro. Still shocked of what I actually watched yesterday. Just an absolute car crash. In terms of management, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Usually I get to dunk on the sporting directors, but boy, today this guy said, "Nah, man, you got to dunk on me."
Oh, bro. How do I even start this? Where do I even start? Like, so much to talk about. It's mad. We'll start things off with Eunice, and then obviously Matisse, you can go after that one. Eunice, bro, what happened, bro? What happened? A week ago, we were here a week ago. 1 week ago, we were here. And we were talking, and we were so happy, and we were so ambitious. We had our chest, nice and high. And we're looking forward to these fixtures. Don was big in all of, hyping everything up. And we're excited as a fan base. We're excited. But what happened, bro?
Suicide. Legit, everyone's got this thing about December. And I'll be honest, I didn't want to entertain December like last season. Because last season, I don't believe we were good enough. Just simple as the squad was just not good enough. We had a Conference League squad, end of story, no expectations, in the mud. Cole Palmer FC. And this time, after the Barca-Arsenal games, we then have games that we've basically thrown away. And then yesterday was the cherry on the cake. Yesterday was just Maresca going, hold my beer. And I'm going to destroy it myself. Legitimately. I still can't believe, what we saw yesterday. And why for me it's concerning is because Maresca has self-admittedly come out and spoken about mistakes that he's made. From time to time in games, when it's come to players, when it's come to rotation, when it's come to little things. And then just as you think, okay, he's going to learn, he's going to rectify, he's going to go back to basics. The whole Achempong, Fofana, Tosin thing that we had, right? We then see yesterday, okay, Josh is in the team, cool. But let me destroy everything else. Let me just get everything else and just throw it all in the bin. And that was, without question, the worst not man management, everything management, just worst management I think I've seen from Maresca, which then takes me back to the whole December point. what we're seeing now isn't a December thing. Oh, like everyone's tired and everyone's ruined and everyone's finished. And no, this is Maresca. Just light the building on fire. Here's the oil and here's the matches. Let's just light it all up on fire. Let's just all die. Like that's
we've lived long enough. Let's die,
bro.
now.
Like that it could be December, it could be August, it could be March, it just happens to be December again, basically. But this time it's self-inflicted. That's what it feels like, and it's just what's concerning now is with Maresca. Like, is this just how you are? Is this just how you do things? Because if this is just how you do things, and this is how you double down on madness, then we're not gonna go anywhere. Simple as that. And I think, by the way, we'll get to this in a little bit because we'll hear Matisse, we'll hear you, but I think I'm beginning to understand Maresca and why we're not picking up anything against the so-called littler teams. I think I get it. We'll go into detail.
I'd love to think, like, I'd love to know your thoughts about that, because a lot of people have been talking about that concept. But we'll park that. I'm sure we're going to talk about that down the track. Matisse, bro, obviously we didn't have you last week. I'm pretty sure you would have been very optimistic moving into these fixtures, thinking, not again. This time, it's not going to happen because, you know, I'm seeing something. And I'm pretty sure even in your wildest dream, like, you wouldn't have pictured Leeds, Bournemouth, and Atalanta in this manner. Where's your head? Like, I saw you in Big Six with a war vest, like people calling you Sergeant Slaughter and all of that kind of stuff. Like,
that was a long time ago. That was it. That was in November. That was actually the last game in November. That was the last game in November.
Where's your headspace at,
for that specific game? They answered the call. You know, they answered the call. The call was, in that game, you know, brute force. Don't be weak. Don't be having individual errors, lapses of concentration, which you could even argue for the goal we conceded that happens anyway with the lap. But thereafter, I don't know. These man tired from battle. So they just put down their weapons now and just get shot up, bro. In all these games, I never thought it would start this badly. Obviously, December is December. You know exactly that. Regardless of who we play, it's just every single year we capitulate at this stage. Every single year. But I think yesterday, I mean, Leeds was a disgrace in terms of the performance. Bournemouth, I nearly fell asleep. Yeah. And today,
I was asleep.
Yesterday, the manager, it was criminal. You know, when I speak on this squad and it's assembled, you know, the way it's been assembled, the quality in the forward line, the obviously the centre-back situation everybody goes on about, but the forward line is what we replenish, what we replace, what we spent the money on in the summer. I'm not happy with the amount of money that's been outlaid, with the money that came in, what was outlaid, and what we actually have to choose from up there. I think it's actually going to be replaced again. I think people are gonna want to replace quite a bit of it again, which is insane. Which is the plan, probably anyway. You know, you buy not quite where you want them to be, and then you make the profit, and then you move on with some of them.
Yeah.
With a Garnacho, for instance, or whoever else. But in terms of the performance, we were fine up until we conceded the goal. I don't think Atalanta are anything special. I don't think they're anything to be afraid of. I don't think they're anything to be, you know, putting on 6 defenders and going super conservative and throwing away the game in terms of possession. But the substitutions that he made on 66, this is not in the 85th minute, 1-0 up, trying to hang on to a lead, trying to get legs onto the pitch, trying to bring on extra defenders to try and see out a win. This is midway through the second half. And everybody saw it. Everybody knew it was criminal. He put Cucurella, and it's not the first time. We know Cucurella is always dancing around in the 8s and the 10s. We saw it against, was it Leeds or Bournemouth? He's
Yeah.
playing as a right 10. I saw him as a right 10 for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's done it
around
multiple times. Yeah, he's done it multiple times.
Bro, the manager takes the piss because he gets away with some of the things and it works sometimes in the bigger games. But in these lesser games where you're going up against, let's be honest, a Europa League level team, I'm seeing Kolasinac, I'm seeing Zappacosta, I'm seeing Scamacca, I'm seeing Plasic, all sorts of failed Premier League players or failed, and he's overcomplicating it, doing way too much. There's no need to overcomplicate Atalanta away at 1-1. Get the players in the right positions where they can do damage and let it play out. How am I seeing Gusto, Cucurella, and Reece James in midfield? As a midfield
that's the time you called me, Matisse. That's the time you called me. And I'm literally watching the game going, bro, I'm seeing Gusto, Reece James, Cucurella lined up in one in the midfield. And my man Santos sitting in the bench. That's exactly when you called me. And I'm
seeing
like,
Gusto in the 10. Gusto in the 10.
And then Caicedo drops the right back and then centre back.
Bro, he was playing right side centre back. I'm seeing Gittins on the right. When has Gittins ever done any damage on the right? You've got a right winger on the bench in Esteval. You've got a central midfielder on the bench. And you're playing fullbacks in midfield. Not just one, not two.
All of them. 3
fullbacks in midfield. I'm sure you would have put Achampong in there and made it a 4-box midfield with 4 fullbacks. We were joking on the stream. He's going to put Gusto and Cucurella in the half spaces in the twin 10s, and he's going to play James and Achampong as the 2 6s. And he's going to do that whilst Caicedo's on the pitch at a centre back. I left that game thinking this guy's mentally unwell, mentally ill.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to go and see someone about this. This is an addiction. This is a fetish. This is insanity. I cannot begin to understand what he was trying to accomplish, and I still haven't seen a good enough explanation since the manager spoke.
He tried to explain why he brought on those players. I'm like, no, sorry. What he explained why he took off who he took off. So he took off Enzo, took off Trev, right? No, sorry, Fofana. And when I'm like, that's not the problem. We get why you had to do that. That was the right thing. But it's who you brought on and where you put them. That's the problem. Didn't explain that one. Like, it's criminal to end the game with 8 defenders on the pitch. Technically, 8 defensive players. And 3 fullbacks on the pitch. 4. 3. 4, if we're counting properly.
4
fullbacks on the pitch. 2 of them in midfield. Gusto's all the way back in defense now. And we've got Caicedo, and we've got Gusto in the 10. That's criminal. That is criminal.
Javon, big up to you, brother. How you doing? You're on mute.
Oh, you're muted.
Can't hear you.
Sorry about that, people. I overslept again. I'm doing well, brother. Stop letting football dictate my life these days. So, see if I can see
Javon,
pictures.
I know you were questioning Maresca a while back, straight from the Man United. I don't know, that might have been like a heat of the moment situation. Maybe not. But I've always sort of said, look, I acknowledge the fact that this squad isn't the best. I acknowledge that. There are flaws. But I said this season, I'm more looking into Maresca a little bit more because I want to see how have you developed? What can you now bring, right? What can you do to galvanize the squad, galvanize the team, and take us to the next level? Because I'm sick and tired of sitting here and just consistently going after the owners and directors. I know they've got flaws. I know that. But I've maintained that there's enough good to be better than what we are. We're at level points with Man United and we're dropping points in the Champions League. We're better than where we are right now, right? Much better. I'm not saying we're better in the sense that we can win the Premier League or anything like that, but better. So, Javon, I've been saying all along that I'm a little bit more critical this season on Maresca. What's your stance, bro? What's your stance till now?
I've always kept it consistent, and I'll keep doing so. I think Maresca keeps manufacturing mistakes. These things that I walked into you guys, what you guys were speaking about, is nothing new. He does it when we're winning, and I'm not saying you cannot do something mad for the one-off game to try and throw the opposition off the game, i.e. the PSG, i.e. Barcelona, and i.e. Arsenal. I'm not saying you cannot throw the lineup. If you want a bit more defensive stability and you don't have Lavia, you can throw Reece James in midfield and then still have Gusta right back. Play both your right backs. I'm not saying you can't do that. My issue is when you constantly do it. No, I'm not going to go over some of the points that you guys have made because I wholeheartedly agree. I'm going to say at times some of these players got to do better. The final third since Leeds and the midfield and the final third since Leeds has been dross. João Pedro, nowhere to be found. Delap, it looks like he's signed for this club to be a UFC fighter. I'm not going to support that. You know, the wingers have to do better. Matisse keeps on talking about the left wing. He's 110% right. Neither of the two can do anything, can take a game by the scruff of the neck when they need to. I do wholeheartedly agree with some of the issues because I've been saying this for time, but I'm not going to harp on about it. You guys covered it in detail. I'm more so concerned, all right, these players, it's the start of the December fixture. Can you guys step up? Can you guys do more? Can at least one of you get us over the line? We were a bit better defensively against Bournemouth, but yet still going forward, we look dross. We look like we can't create anything to save our lives. I get the manager is under heat right now based on yesterday, but this player's got to do better. Reece James scored that goal that makes it 2-0. Could change the game. The defensive substitution, you get it, he had to make it because I think there was a stud in Fofana's eye, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He had to make those defensive changes. Oh, would you look at here? He finally played with Jashan Chempong. He's better 1v1 than Tosin. But Tosin still had to end up coming to the pitch.
But you know what, Javon? Like I hear exactly what you're saying, and I'd love to hear what the lads have to say about this as well. Like I get what you're saying that a lot of these players need to look at themselves. I get that. I fully understand that, right? You say that. Let's quickly look at the Atalanta game. You say that had Reece James had scored, it might have been different. But don't forget the fact that had Atalanta scored in the first half, a couple of really good chances that they had, and if it wasn't for Achapong, it could have been a different story there as well. So I don't necessarily think that game that we played against Atalanta was actually a very good game. I feel we were lucky to be 1-0 up at halftime. Like, great, okay, we got away with it. Nice, 1-0. Second half, I thoroughly think they deserve to win, you know. They showed more impetus to go and chase the game. They felt, they could sense there's a little bit of weakness here on Chelsea. They're not really going full throttle after us. Let's take it to them and let's see if we can get something out of it. I'm not surprised they ended up winning.
But we've been like that since Leeds. So this
is my point. How can you go from playing the way you did against Barcelona, against Arsenal with a man down, and with the morale high moving into these fixtures? How can you display those level of performance where you're winning? It's not just about the tactics, and I know there is tactical issues here. When we play against bigger teams, we have a different tactic. When we play against smaller teams, we seem to have this stupid tactic that we're doing. We're overthinking. We've covered that, all of us, as a group here. But what I'm trying to say is that how can you go from that level of intensity where you're winning duels, you're winning everything, you're in the opposition's face, to against Leeds, you can't match their energy. You get overawed by the stadium, by the fans. Same thing against Bournemouth. I don't think we deserved a draw in that game. I'm sorry. Bournemouth, if they had a little bit more quality up front, they had enough. They were peppery. Sanchez was saving a lot of stuff. So what I'm trying to get to is why the vast difference here? What's going on?
it's down to mentality, and it's both the players and the manager. Because guess what? It's easy to get up for the big games. We've seen it not just at our clubs, but at different clubs. You'll ask why some of these players can get up for the Arsenal, the Barcelona, and whatnot, and they are on a high. They're playing well. They're playing to a level. But when they come to a smaller team, they cannot maintain that level or maintain any level. Because you maintain any level against Leeds, we shouldn't be losing to Leeds. We shouldn't be losing to Leeds. And there's another thing as well. Maresca has to stamp his authority on what he expects from some of these players, and I have to kind of mitigate how he uses these players, because something that stood out to me is he rested. If you remember before the Barcelona and Arsenal game, he rested both Reece James and Malagusto, right? So when Leeds comes along, because you know that Reece James can't play 2 games, when Leeds comes along, there's no natural right back on the field to support to support Esteval. You know it's going to be a physical game. I'm not saying don't play Esteval, but if you're going to play Esteval, playing with someone that's going to give him the option to overlap, underlap, and that has built chemistry with him on that right-hand side. If you notice when Chalaba was on the right-hand side, every pass overplayed, underplayed, no overlap, no underlap, right? So he puts himself in these positions where you have 3 right backs at the club and you choose none of them. How is it possible for you to have 3 right backs at the club that can play there comfortably and you have none of them playing at a game? At Leeds, at a Premier League game where you need 3 points. Because this wasn't even about a top 2 race or whatever. It's about a top 4 race. Because there's people right behind you. And then when you go to a more preferred back line against Bournemouth, we create nothing from the middle of the park going forward. It is on Maresca and it is on the players, but it's down to the mentality. It's easy to get up for these high caliber games because no one counts us in to win. But the true test of a manager, the true test of top players is being able to maintain a level of professionalism to get the win over the line, especially if everyone's not playing well, which is why I'm saying, okay, Maresca, you can do so much and no more. And I'm not going to defend him, but I'm just not going to go over that point. Some of these players have to hold corn too, right? Pedro Neto, people are going to say, oh, but he still get GNA. So what? He's supposed to stop getting GNA just because he hits 7 goals and assists? That's not how it works, brother. You keep going. You're one of the senior wingers, and that's why I called his name. People like Joe Pedro going missing mid-game. It's the second half. Why are you missing? Why are you stop picking up?
It's too easy to say mentality, because for me, when you're playing against the bigger teams, that style in those games is much more catered to some of the attackers that we employ, because you're playing in transition. And I've said this before. You're playing in transition. There's more space to run into. And in those type of games, you're more likely to see Neto make the kind of runs he needs to be making inside. Garnacho making the runs he needs to be making inside towards goal, because there's the space to do it. Whereas when you're coming up against these lesser teams, forget winning the duels and the headers and the set for 1 second. Your foot is going to be on the ball more often than not. So what are you going to do when you have the ball? And when we have the ball, against these lesser teams, all we do is just go straight wide on the touchline. João Pedro is in acres of space in the middle, combining with Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez. And Enzo Fernandez that can't run. He's trying to make runs in behind the last defender. He's getting bullied. He's getting shrugged off the ball.
He's tired.
He can't. He's cooked. Physically, he's cooked. Actually,
he can't run. He can't run.
Yeah.
But then you have to trust Andre Santos more, even though he didn't have a good game against who was
Leeds.
it? Was it Leeds?
Leeds.
He didn't have.
Leeds.
You have to trust him.
Yeah.
Cucurella yesterday's cooked. You have
He's
to use Hato more. You have to use Hato more, right? But the basics is that I'm seeing. I mean, Cole Palmer, when he had his first start, misplaced passes, underhit, overcooked. Enzo Fernandez, undercooked, overhit. This game, gassed, getting physically dominated in the final third. Some of the players are cooked. And that leads to, can you trust your squad? You have to rotate. The only thing right now that he's got right recently is the fact that he has rotated. The one thing that he's got incredibly wrong with the rotation is the fact that he's played Tosin over Josh. Everybody who can see, who has a pair of eyes, can see Josh is better than Tosin. You saw it yesterday in that first half. Recovery, pace, winning duels, on the ball, just wide defending, 1v1 defending, whatever you want. played the offside trap perfectly, then said, actually, no, he hasn't blown yet. Let me go and actually go and win the recovery as well and go and win the tackle. So he's got that horribly wrong. But in terms of rotation, you have to rotate in this period. You can't run away from it, which is why when you're building a squad in the summer, you shouldn't be looking for depth. You should be looking for starters, because the starters aren't even good enough themselves in some positions. We're not looking for depth. This is what people keep getting twisted. We're looking for starters. We've not got enough high quality starters. Forget the depth. And then the manager, like I said yesterday, he just self-sabotaged, because some of the decisions he decided to make literally just cooked the game. He cooked the game completely. So
what else?
Everybody's at fault, bro. Everybody's at fault. You can't say that. You can't say the directors are not at fault, because
no, of course
we've got players that can't be trusted, and we've got clearly lack of quality in some areas. And then also the manager just cooked the team, so he's at fault as well. And
Really
some of the
do you know what, Javon? Go on, Javon. Go on.
Really quickly, I'm not necessarily rebuttaling your point, Matisse. I think he hasn't rotated properly, because guess what? You integrate Andre Santos, Joel Hato, Josh earlier in the Achampong earlier in the season, and then you don't get a cooked into Fernandez. You don't get a cooked Korea, because guess what? Hato make a mistake. Josh made a mistake. Was it the Brighton game? And we haven't seen him for 6 weeks. Andre Santos, barring those 2 performances and the mistake against Brighton, we haven't seen him since up until what? Was it the Burnley game? Or a little bit before that?
Leeds. I think Andre Santos stuffed up against Leeds, and then since then, that's it. We don't want to see Andre Santos again.
Thank you. Hato had a bad game. Granted, it was a really bad game. But then you don't see him again ever. Right? So he is rotating, but I don't think he's rotating correctly. Because if you rotate correctly, you save the legs for Enzo, which we need him to be the leader of this midfield now, because Caicedo is out for a couple of games, right? You rotate Josh properly, the Tosin thing doesn't even become a thing anymore. So he is rotating, but I think he's rotating incorrectly.
But do you think we win? Do you think we win the games we have to win with some of those changes and some of the games that you're implying we should do it? What game should we do it against? Arsenal? No. Should we do it? I'm
talking slightly before that. Go ahead, miss.
So Matisse, your points are valid, but where I'll rebuttal, and as Javon has said, is no one's disputing the rotation. It's don't rotate with players that are so different in those profiles now. Like this guy, literally, Maresca came out and he's put his hand up and he said, "I regret not using Achapong." It's not good regretting. It's not good regretting after 6 weeks. Yeah, everyone knew. We're not even managers. We all knew. But you consistently choose to use Tosin when Tosin has been involved in a lot of the F-ups this season. If you look at some of the significant F-ups all throughout this season, you'll notice Tosin's there. He's there, right? So you know that. Now you want to regret. No, right? You've got Andre Santos, for example, against Atalanta. Yeah, no one's saying that Enzo Fernandez doesn't need to come off the bench. Of course he does. Of course he does. But you're bringing in Malo Gusto.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? Like he's self-cooking some of the nonsense. As I said, right? And Eunice would love to hear what you have to say about this. Like, as I've said, there's flaws in this team. There is flaws. No one's running away from that. But you can't tell me if you make the right moves and make sure the right profiles are fit in those, that you can't tell me you can't beat Leeds and you can't beat Bournemouth and you can't beat Atalanta. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and accept at that time that, the directors didn't do enough. I know they didn't do enough. I know. But this is not the game where I say they didn't do enough.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
It would stem from before.
We don't disagree.
Yeah, it would stem from before, because I'm seeing games where Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo are playing when you could say, you know what, I could rest Enzo here and sit Andre Santos beside Caicedo, because Caicedo would give that defensive coverage and help Andre Santos learn. And then after that, maybe the next game, because Andre Santos would be the fresher legs, you would then drop Caicedo and have him sit beside Enzo Fernandez. Simple rotations like that. When it comes on to Josh, Fofana can't play every game. Josh steps in from time to time. When we have that defensive crisis that we have, simple small rotation goes a long way when it comes on to the bigger games.
But this is just players playing in their
Go on,
positions, isn't it? Like players in their positions. When you're rotating and you're taking off one player who needs to be rotated, you are putting on his direct replacement. Now, this is where yesterday concerns me big time about Maresca, because now I'm starting to, like I said at the beginning, like I'm beginning to see, okay, how is it you actually navigate? Yesterday proved that in games where we should be able to rock up and win, it's not just overcomplicating, right? He's trying to play a system according to the opponent that we are playing against everybody, which is wrong. That's wrong. When you play Arsenal, you play Barcelona, you play Liverpool, Liverpool by stature, you play big teams, right? You need to over prepare. You have to look at every detail. You have to, especially if you're the underdog. If you're the team that's coming in as the B side in this matchup, you need to incorporate a system based on who you're playing, because they are stronger than you. They have higher levels than you. You need to navigate a way with the personnel you have that's going to nullify what they do and find a way through. You don't do that against Leeds. You don't do that against Wolves, Burnley. You don't do that. And that's yesterday proved that is what he does against every single opponent. And for me, that's a problem, and that hinders everybody. That is where even players that come off the bench, like Gusto, and then he's in midfield, well, we can't say, oh, no, he had a bad game. Bruv, that's not where he plays. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, he's not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder.
The reason why Maresca did that is the most important thing here. It's because he is catering to every single opponent that we play. And now I'm looking at the system that you incorporate isn't a system that he's going in game in, game out, trying to get some rhythm, as we should be. I'm starting to see, just like Atalanta, the reason why he ended up with 3 fullbacks on the pitch at the same time and having to go to this weird shape, and Gittins playing on the right, is because he's now thinking, okay, how do I combat this Atalanta team? That's wrong. Yeah. How about we move forward with what works for Chelsea Football Club first, and then they react to us, that is now starting to set in. This is why yesterday I said it concerns me, because now I'm starting to see this is what he does every single game. And then this is what he does every single game. He's not going to change his ways. Like the most important thing here, the most easy thing here that I think he can do is against teams that we should be, not just, I don't want to sound condescending, that we should be getting results against, but the lesser teams, the ones where Chelsea are coming in as, we should be having this game. We're the favourites. We're the A side in this game, right? We're not playing a big club. You don't need to put in the same level of detail as you would against a top team, where you need to look at every single possible threat, every single player. Why? Because you know their levels and threats are higher than us. We need to go into those games understanding that our threats and levels are higher than theirs. So just play our game. Bring it back to basics. How about we go to a normal system that fits everyone in their position? And if we are rotating, it's literally man for man, but we have the same system, because if not, you're not going to get into any continuity. Why yesterday was such a disaster is because we went to a way and a system with personnel that we've not done before. Yesterday was catastrophic. But how do you want players to get a rhythm and understand instruction when they haven't even grasped the main way of playing yet? We're still actually with this young team, and there's players there, and some that are really good, and there's some that we've spoken about recruitment that we don't think are levels. But if they're still trying to adapt and they're still trying to understand our main way of playing, how are you going to try and tell them to play a complete different way and execute it correctly? It's not going to happen.
In the beginning of December, not mind you.
Exactly. In the most important period where you need, now it's not about quality, it's about quantity. Right? This is the busiest part of the year. So we need to make sure we've got a way that is just going to get us over the line. Yeah, we got a system that everyone knows and everyone's going along with the flow. Just go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow. And if you are playing a big team that you need to overanalyze and you have to over detail and you have to, yes, that's correct. And that is why I believe we get results against big clubs. Yesterday was for me, the light bulb moment. We get results against big clubs because we are over preparing, because we are over detailing, because we are over analyzing, and then we nullify them in areas they don't expect to be nullified in. But then we do the same against Leeds, and we self-sabotage. And we do it against Atalanta, and we kill ourselves. And Maresca doesn't look like he's going to move away from that. And that's why, for me, now I'm concerned on Maresca. And I think that's the main thing. Mentality is a big reason. But for me now, I was screaming about mentality. I think that's secondary now. I think Maresca and his ways is the first problem now.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that was brought to my attention while you're on the topic, Eunice, you notice we haven't seen that formation he played against PSG?
No.
Why? Think about how good that was when we didn't have necessarily a focal point, when we had the 2 10s. Joe Preacher could have played in one of the 10s, and then we have a rotating 9. Why haven't we seen that formation?
Because I think he caters to every opponent and shifts based on who we're playing, which is wrong. Like yesterday proved it, because yesterday he done it on steroids. I'm like, this is how you are.
Do you know what really irks me so much this season? And I don't even want to think about from a tactic, like I'm not even that's a deeper level of thought, right? And I want to ask you this, Matisse, like what really has irked me this season is that cowardice approach at times. You've got Esteval, you've got Andre Santos, you've got certain players that you can utilize. Why are you going into matches in this cowardice behavior, cowardice approach? I don't understand it, because when it's Arsenal, a man down, all of a sudden you want to show your bravado. When I probably predicted this is a good time to be a coward now, Maresca. It's a very good time to be a coward with a man down. Now you want to show your bravado. But against Man United, a man down, coward behavior straight away. Didn't even give us an opportunity to let's just see what happens, because eventually they got a red card, right?
Yeah.
Against other, like Sunderland, 1-1, I believe, and you took off Achapong, okay, whatever, he had a bit of knock. You brought in Tosin. Like, where's your intent to, you know what, Sunderland? I'm gonna take the game to you. I see too much. Brighton as well, same thing. Like, what is going on? Like this cowardice behavior for me. I don't know. Is that how you feel, Matisse? Like, do you feel there's a little bit of cowardice behavior this season that we're seeing?
He has been a coward at times. But he showed against Arsenal that he learned from the 10-men scenario. So for me, there's no point going back. There's no point going back, because we already know this manager. He's going to have to learn from his errors. The fact is, he has to learn from his errors. He can't make the same errors again. So I'm not really bothered about the 10-men thing, because he's already gone and not made up for it, but he's already gone and shown a different side to him. And I'm now not expecting him to revert. The fullbacks in midfield against Atalanta, when you know Gusto's better at right back as an overlapper, and you're still putting him in the twin 10s, and it's not a big game where you're trying to shut the opposition midfield down, I find that ridiculous. So, you know, but this guy is constantly having to reflect, take accountability. At some point, you got to stop making so many errors, so many coaching and in-game errors. However, like I always say, and I disagree with what Eunice said about he's the main problem. It's absolutely impossible for this manager to be the main problem. It's impossible. We can't keep coming into every single season with a squad that is not capable of doing what it should be doing. The manager makes mistakes, absolutely. But let's not forget about all the red cards we accumulated. Why is our discipline so poor this season if we want to go back all the way back? Why?
Is that not on Maresca as well, though?
It is on the manager.
I was going to say that. Who sets the mode? Do you know what I mean? Who sets the mood?
But you're bringing in.
I do agree. The recruitment's a bigger problem.
When you recruit like this, it is guaranteed you're going to get inconsistent performances and ill discipline from certain players. It's guaranteed off the bat.
But there are players that are good enough that I feel that are not showing what they're doing as a consequence of what Maresca's doing right now. I feel like if it was simplified a little bit, we might actually get some of them ticking properly, which we're not seeing.
But guys, remember, there's a bigger thought to this. It's Maresca's first big job. So this is the first time
But
Maresca
how
will be
long's that
doing
going to
these
last
things.
for, Javon?
Oh,
How long is that going to last
hey,
for, bro?
hey, brother.
On
Ask
the,
these questions.
Javon, on the shortlist, was it not everybody's first big job on the shortlist? It was Vincent Kompany's first big job. It was McKenna's first big job. It's Maresca's first big job. So again, I'm not going to start with the manager because again, I've said this before. This is the type of manager they like to recruit. And one thing I'm not going to do is go right back to the beginning again with a new manager who they're going to recruit. It's going to be their first big job. I know it's not where you're going, but
I agree.
we have the same situation with Nicholas Jackson. We do all the hard work, somebody else benefits, and we start all over again. Because that's exactly what we're doing with some of these players in some of these positions that we've replaced. We've made sideward steps, and I'm seeing the same ill discipline that I saw in Nicholas Jackson a year ago in some of these players. I'm seeing the same lack of decision-making, lack of IQ in some of these players that I saw a year ago. And you just keep starting again, because the policy is to continue to recruit raw and unproven young potential people in all departments. So once you've gone through all of the hardship and all of the errors and all of the corrections and all of the learning, you want me to now start again with someone else who's going to have to go right back to the beginning? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I agree with you on that. And this goes back to the very beginning, right? And I think it's important to clarify this. When Maresca was hired and we were looking at all this and going, okay, what have we done here? And despite some of the top moments that we've had, but I think a line has to be drawn. It has to be drawn. If this whole Maresca thing doesn't actually work out, that should be the end of Winstanley and Stewart instantly. Like that's because I agree.
They just signed a new contract.
We cannot go. I mean, but in terms of what is feasibly possible here, that's just the reality. Because I agree. If something goes wrong with Maresca now, I do think, I think we'll go down the route of just trying to get the next up and coming next guy. You know, I'll put it out here now. It'll be Liam Rosenior that probably takes the Chelsea job. He'll get promoted from Strasbourg. So I don't know how people are feeling about that, but
I think you're right. It's probably going to be Liam Rosenior.
The reason why I brought up that is because we had a discussion earlier in the season, and it was painted. The picture and the narrative was printed, and the entire fan base ran with it. This is Maresca's first quote unquote job. So when he's in a title race, when he's doing this, it's going to be experiencing this for the first time. We have literally seen that played out. Red card situation, he's rectified that. Now he's at a juncture where he has to rectify, where he has to do two things: keeping the standard high for when he's playing against low teams, and stop making consistent substitution and making manufacturing mistakes. These things are going to happen going forward, is my point. Because the type of manager we signed, we didn't sign a manager with experience. We didn't sign a manager who's been here, done this before. These things are going to happen. And you guys just said it. It makes no sense we try to change the manager now because we're going to go down the same route. So what do? Unfortunately, we're going to have to accept it. We have to hold him accountable in the moment. But this is going to happen again.
People are saying, oh, did the SDs know the manager was going to do this? The whole point is that you do know. That's the whole point. You have to know. You can't bring in a manager and then be absolutely shell-shocked for the second year running, by the way. It's not like he just started doing this season. He likes to have his wingers on the touchline, very far away from his centre forward, and he likes to put his fullbacks into midfield. We all knew this when he came in because everybody did their digging and their dirt and found all of this information when he was doing his tactical explanations. So don't be shocked now. This guy is not doing anything different than he was already doing. And I'm not going to let a bad week, because that's what it is, a bad week, 1 week, change the whole narrative on who's actually to blame for this situation. Because we were second and no one was talking about Maresca. We were fourth or fifth or sixth in the Champions League group. No one was talking about Maresca. So it's not going to be 3 games that we suddenly pivot all the way from what's going on at the top of the club with the recruitment, with the quality coming in, with the constant upheaval of 10, 9, 12 players in and out the door every single summer. And then we're worried about ill discipline. And we're worried about a lack of quality and consistency. And then suddenly we're going to bring it back to the manager when you know damn well exactly what type of manager they're going to bring in. And you want to start with the manager. I'm going to criticize the manager for today. I'm ready to criticize the manager absolutely for Atalanta. He is fully 100% responsible for what happened against Atalanta. But in terms of the wider problem, it's not going to start with him. If he, I said the same thing with Poch. If he is to fall away, and these SDs are still here, which they will be after they just signed a new contract in the summer. No one had a problem with it. Everyone's telling me, oh, you got to give them credit. You got to give them credit. We're world champions. We're world champions. You got to give them credit. What?
Matisse, Matisse, what do you think about the squad, the players when we played PSG Club World Cup? What do you think about the players?
They're good at they can do it on a one-off. When the whole starting 11's fit.
What do you think about?
When the whole starting 11's fit, Miz, and you play your strongest team, this team is capable of winning any game.
Yeah.
They can win it.
What do you think about when we beat Liverpool? What do you think when we beat Liverpool
thing.
earlier this season?
Same thing.
How do you feel when we did that against Barcelona? What do you think about it?
Same thing. But the manager's great in those big games, and the team can deliver on those big games. But Miz, we can't judge this team based upon 3 games. We have to judge them over 38 games. And the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of players in this team that can literally walk into mid-table clubs, and you wouldn't bat an eyelid. You wouldn't, Miz. If you was to see Neto gallivanting up and down for Nottingham Forest, you would not say, bring Garnacho, bring Gittins, who can bring you 50% contribution and 50% not. Bring Liam Delap, a chaos maker. Oh yeah, bring. Come on, man. Look at these attackers and tell me that they're top players. You can't do it. And I've said it before.
Look,
if top managers need top players, why do rookie managers not? Why? Because you know damn well that if someone cuts in from the left-hand side and slaps it, the whole system and the whole thing is eradicated.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Look,
so there has to be a bit of a balance here.
I've said, Matisse, plenty of times that squad's got flaws. But you're telling me, let's just look at the last few games, right? I'm not even going to visit some of the games we've played previously. You're telling me I need a world-class squad to beat Leeds. You're telling me the players I have in my artillery cannot match up to beat these guys. You're telling me I need all the best players in my artillery to beat Bournemouth.
No, Miz, you're overlooking the point.
If you want to win games consistently in this country, you need a world-class squad. Yes, you're not going to be consistent in this country with the level of competition, the level of variation of tactics, the level of physicality, the level of other managers in this league if you do not have a top squad. You can win any one-off game because you've accumulated a handful of top players and surrounded them by average or decent players. Why does anyone drop points in this league? Because they don't have the depth to go game in, game out, make the rotations. If we play our best team against Leeds and we don't have suspensions and we don't have injuries and we don't have players to manage, we win. And if they're at 100%, but when you play any game and when you manage any scenario, any situation, there's going to be a drop in energy levels. There's going to be a drop in quality and consistency. There's going to be suspensions. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. You have to manage the situation. So you're not going to go into Leeds with your best team. We're going to go into Barcelona with our best team. There's no point comparing Barcelona, Liverpool, and Arsenal to Leeds, Bournemouth, and
So what do you say
Atalanta,
to teams like Crystal Palace? So what do you say to teams like Crystal Palace that are ahead of us? What do you say to teams like Man U? Okay, but how are they more points than us at this moment? How are Aston Villa, who started the first 6-7 games of the season so poorly, still managed to conjure up the points that they've conjured up over the last 10 games?
But that's the thing.
Did you think their squad was better at the start of the season?
Miz, listen, I'm not going to let 1 week of results suddenly start having me compare us to Crystal Palace. I don't care about Crystal Palace, bro, because at the end of the day, we're not going to finish behind Crystal Palace. We're not. If we do, at the end of the season, absolutely. Then you can have those questions. We're not going to finish behind Crystal Palace. But the point is, we're going to keep ebbing and flowing, up and down in until we address the larger issue, which is we continue to recruit mid players. You go back and look at that summer, and I said it. I said we failed. Eunice was live.
Mm-hmm.
All of these moves have been sidestepped. We said last season as a Conference League squad. What has our squad proven this season for it to not be that? What has João Pedro in the Premier League proven on evidence last season and now coming into this season that he is above Nkuku? What has Delap proven that he's above Delap? What has that he's above Jackson? What has Garnacho proven that he's above Sancho? What has Gittins proven that he's above Mudryk? No one's proven shit until further notice. It's as simple as that. So you can't make any sweeping statements that this team is this because they have not proven it. We're too ready to applaud and to congratulate and to award these guys at a certain level of quality that they've not proven. You have to do a year's worth of work minimum. You should have to do 2 years before you get your congratulations, your pat on the back.
But that's where
These guys have not done
this is where
they've not done anything.
This is where, and just quickly before Javon jumps in, this is where I find it. I'm happy for you guys to all chime in. Right? Like, this is where I find it very difficult. Like Victor Gyökeres, right, for example, well touted, everyone wanted him, right? He goes to Arsenal, he's not clicked into gears, right? You look at a lot of these superstar players that Liverpool have, they've not clicked into gears, right? What I'm trying to get to is we can go out there and splash all the money and get this manager everything he requires. Are you confident that we're now going to start seeing a great level of football? Because I'm seeing lesser managers getting more from their squad. That's what I'm trying to get to. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not Maresca out. I'm not. I've seen good. But what I'm trying to say, and this is where I side with Eunice, I think he's overcooking at times when you don't need to. Bro,
He's not helping.
You've got he's not. You're not helping. That's what I'm trying to say. Like someone tells you to make noodles, and you've got the ingredients right in front of you to make nice, lovely noodles. Not spectacular 5-star noodles, but nice, lovely noodles to have a nice meal. But this man's going on and chucking things that is unnecessary. Now the noodles doesn't taste good anymore. That's all I'm trying to get to. That
I hear that. But
you're telling me I need to give you everyone.
No. If you were to actually, when was the last time we could sit here at the start of the season and say this is a title contending squad under this ownership? We've never been able to do it. Do you not see Ancelotti and Jose Mourinho and all sorts of high quality managers in the previous era getting sacked with world-class players in their team? World-class players glittered in their team and still getting sacked for it. So you can keep changing managers. Well, bring in Glasner, bring in Areola, go on, do it. And then when they're faced with the same high expectations and the same high standards and the same imbalance in terms of quality matching with expectations, and then they have the same issues and they're dealing with all of the different intangibles that you have to deal with at Chelsea that you can't compare to Crystal Palace, that you can't compare to Bournemouth, you can't compare to Brentford. You've even got Thomas Frank struggling in the Tottenham job. These comparisons aren't real. They don't exist. Go and put on a Chelsea jacket, stand at Cobham with that situation in terms of the level of expectation, and go and do it at Bournemouth or wherever they train and see if it's the same thing. It's clearly not. I already know this manager's overthinking. I already know this manager's over-tinkering. I've already spoken about the manager doing way too much tactically, many points this season. But my point is there is no point starting with the manager until you sort out your actual strategy before the manager even starts coaching.
So here's what I'll say.
Unless you don't think the strategy's flawed and you guys are completely happy with the strategy that we continue to keep taking,
strategy's flawed.
we keep finding ourselves in this position.
No, I agree. But in terms of
I don't understand the point.
What can be done now? Like as of right now,
that's what I'm saying.
The first court of action, because that is something that can only be addressed probably towards the end of the season, right? If it comes to it.
Yeah.
Or if we actually do make a change, which God knows who's going to come in. And that's another question, which Matisse, I agree with you on that. But as of right now, what can actually be done? We've all spoken for game in, game out for quite a little while now, even with results that we just managed to get across the line. He's overthinking. He's overthinkering. The rotation debate has been going on for a few weeks now, right? This is something that isn't new. But that's the starting point, I feel like, right now. That's what can actually be controlled as of today. And then come later, 100%, there's overlaying issues here that we've had, I'd say, since the owners walked in.
But here's what I wanted to address to the panel. You don't need a world-class squad to win any league. What you need top players in their positions, and then the players that can step in are players that you trust to perform at a substantial level. So when you do a rotation, the drop in quality isn't as much or non-existent, right? What I do agree with what ties into my statement is Maresca is not using these players in their natural position for them to play to that substantial level where when Caicedo, who we deem world class, is out, we don't miss him as much. There's been one game this season, and that's when Andre Santos stepped into play. That I can give you an example of that. Right? Maresca doesn't trust Joel Atto, so when Kukurea is not on the pitch, he can try to play to some form of substantial level to get us over the line when our starters are not playing. Why is that? Because you don't give the guy a run of games. You don't trust him. Right? So Maresca right now is not helping the squad. When you use these players out of position, they don't get a run in the team because guess what? When you use them in a position you want to use them into, and then they make a mistake, they disappear. They disappear for 3 to 6 weeks, and we never see him again. And when we do see him again, you still use him out of position. So it's a cause and effect thing.
I agree. This is just to mention, this is where I don't think we can fully understand what the levels are individually or even collectively by each player and what they're genuinely capable of until we actually see a lineup and a system that everyone goes, no, you know what? Maresca's done the absolute most he can here. I can't ask for more. And I think once we reach that point, then everyone else is exposed properly, if that comes to that. But till we see that, we can't actually know. And right now, Maresca isn't helping himself because of that.
I'll give you
point. Right now, what can be
since
done
we're
right
looking
now?
since we're looking at recent stuff, because there are other matches that has happened previously. I know Matisse said we've had one bad week. Yeah, we did. But there have been other bad.
Can I just address?
Yeah, go on.
I'm tired of re-explaining myself. I'm bored. When I say we can finish second, if you look at our strongest team with Levi Colwell in there, with Fofana in there, with James in there, with Caicedo, with Palmer, with Enzo, with Lavia, with Esteval, we can finish second. Yes, it's not difficult to finish second. It's not an achievement. I think people are confused. But the point is, you're going to get your red cards. Shit, that's going to change the prediction. The manager's going to have blunders. He's a rookie. Oh, shit, that's going to change the prediction. People are going to get suspended and injured. Oh, shit. Then there's going to be rotations. The squad. I'm not talking about the quality of the starting 11. The quality of the starting 11 is, well, apart from 1 or 2 positions, striker and winger, is a strong level. But underneath that, there's problems. There's problems. That's the point. But again, forget the second prediction. People care too much about a second or third or fourth. I said very clearly, it's going to be very close. Second is the absolute max of what we could have done if City are dropping off, if Liverpool are dropping off. It doesn't matter what prediction I give. Points. You can be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second, or you can be Klopp's second. Forget the second. Talk about the hour-long stream when I said we failed the transfer window, where all the context is given, where all the detail is given. When João Pedro, we're talking about, is he a striker? Is he going to be a squad player? What kind of signing is this? Where's he going to play? Talk about that. Talk about Delap. He's not fucking Harry Kane. He's Jamie Vardy. And that's a disrespect to Jamie Vardy now. Talk about that. Talk about the actual analysis and the depth of the players that we have when we're signing them. Talk about the no to Garnacho hashtag. Talk about that. Don't talk to me about just... don't talk to me about irrelevant shit. Talk to me about important shit, please. Please talk to me about important shit. That's all I have to say, Don.
Okay, so look, like, just to absolutely clarify, I think we all have, all along, and especially Eunice and I have spent last 3 seasons talking very critically about the owners and the sporting directors and the approach that they've taken to this project, right? But since we're talking about some of the recent games, going back to Atalanta again, tell me why, when you have someone like Esteval on the bench and you know he's capable of changing a match, tell me why you as a manager don't see it plausible to use certain talent to swing the match your way. Tell me, why should I spend at that moment, when I know I can do something about this game, why should I spend that moment? FU SDs, FU owners. We all know that. There's a way to change this game, and you have someone there. Tell me why this manager, on a regular basis this season especially, has opted for the wrong decisions. Why is that happening? You come out in the press conferences and say that you've made a mistake. How many more mistakes do you need to make? You've made a lot.
So here's the thing. I think he needs to rectify some of his man management and how he tends to banish players after they make a mistake. I get it. The kid's 18. Why didn't we see him against Bournemouth? Just because of a bad game at Leeds. So sometimes you have to let some of these players figure it out, especially when you don't have a better option. Why? It's a Champions League game where he's going to have more space, where he's going to have more time on the ball. Why isn't he featuring at all? He's doing the same thing he did to Josh, and he's doing the same thing he did to Hato. But guess what? Because Esteval's his name is more world renowned, he's not gonna get away with it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? When some of these young players make a mistake, he takes them out. I don't know if he's trying to take them out the limelight, the firing line, or what, but you don't see them for a couple games running, and then they come back randomly. Did the same thing with Andre Santos after the Brighton game. He needs to rectify that.
Don
was going to come in. Don?
I thought he was going to come in and he's
yeah, that's why I kind of cut my spiel short. He kind of just left.
But until Don comes back, lads, we've got Everton, Aston Villa, Newcastle coming up. Like, you know, after hearing what Matisse had to say, after hearing what Yunus, Javon, all of us, where are we at now? Like, do we just go, okay, well, wrap this up, lads. We'll talk about it in the summer. Get these owners out, get these sporting directors out, or make a more of a noise about the way it's been run. Like, well, because what do we do? Like, what's the what is the genuine expectation about Everton coming up? They're a point behind us.
If we finish fourth, is anyone here going to complain? Chat, anyone going to complain if we finish fourth?
We need to finish fourth.
If we scrape finish
but was that?
I will.
But Matisse, was that the expectation? Was that the expectation?
Forget the expectation. Forget the ownership saying that fourth is the plan. Forget if we finish fourth, is anyone here going to complain?
If we scrape it, I will. Depends how we finish.
I will. Yeah, if we scrape it,
yeah,
you talk about points. You talk about points, Matisse. If we get fourth by getting like 59 points or 60 points,
impossible.
I'm sorry,
impossible. All right, just say we finish fourth with 70 points.
Maybe it depends what we do elsewhere. What do we do with the cups?
Exactly.
Like, it can't just be one thing. It can't just be one thing. For me, when I look at this entire Premier League, there's not one team that I can say, besides maybe Arsenal, because they're the only ones that show consistency on a regular, right? I know they've had hiccups. Besides that, everyone on that day, if you turn up correct, you can get them. You can get them. If you don't turn up correct, you're going to get done.
I'm not happy with fourth. I want to win the league. But that has to be mirrored. That has to be mirrored in the summer. So every time a summer rolls around and we're doing deals and we're getting here we goes and we're getting transfers and the dopamine's kicking in, just remember, does the transfer business reflect what you want from the season? Because everybody's now saying, oh, we have standards. Oh, we have this, we have that. But don't tell me that the transfer business that came in through the door in the summer is reflective of your standards. It's absolutely impossible for this to be the case. When you all wanted a top striker, you all wanted a top left winger, you all wanted a top centre back. Crucify me because I said we're not going to bring in a centre back unless we sell one. But we absolutely need a centre back and we need a goalkeeper. You didn't get any of those things. You literally didn't get any of those things. But now suddenly we have standards. We want to win the league. Make it make sense. It's not making sense. So that's the first thing. If you're going to patch it up with cups, I'll take it. That is where we go from here, bro. To answer your question, we have to win trophies. We have to win the Carabao Cup. We have to go and try and win the FA Cup. We have to try and go the absolute distance in the Champions League because we're a cup team. We're clearly a cup team. No one here thought we'd win the league. We hoped that we could derail it, compete, try and, unsettle the apple cart, maybe open up the door for others and maybe ourselves. But we all knew we're not really league. We're not league ready. We're not league ready. Forget internet ready. We're not league ready. But we can always be ready for cups. And that is where my anger will really come with this manager. This league campaign is going to be ups and downs because unfortunately that is what we have assembled and that's the person we have in charge. That's just how I see it. It is going to be ups and downs. I was hoping for people to overachieve. That's when I say second. I hope Neto has an outstanding season. I hope Garnacho has an outstanding season. I hope these guys prove me wrong a little bit and Delap has an outstanding season. He's injured again. I hope João Pedro continues his Club World Cup form gets 20, but it's all hope. It's not guarantees. There's no evidence of João Pedro getting 20 goals. There's no evidence of Delap getting 20 goals. There's no evidence of Garnacho and Neto getting 15 goals. It's all hope. So that's why I say I hope these guys overachieve. I hope these guys step up to the plate and match the Caicedos and match the Cole Palmers and match the Reece Jameses. I hope for overachievement. But the reality is they're probably not going to overachieve because they've always done this in every club and every year they've been in this sport. So now you have to turn to the cups. And because of what we said earlier, we are capable of beating anyone on our day with the right team and with the manager and his tactics. So we can win trophies. We can. We can win trophies. We can still have a good season because it's been a bad week. Doesn't mean it's going to be a terrible season. I've seen Chelsea have a shocking first 6 months and then go on to win some crazy shit. Obviously, this team have to prove it at the highest level. They've never done that, but they can do it. We finished 5th, 6th when we've won the biggest trophies. So the season's not finished. Season's not collapsed. Yeah, if we win the next game, we're back in the top 4. The mood just comes straight back down again.
But here's the thing. I don't want us to win a major trophy like i.e. the Champions League because it's definitely plausible. And then it covers then the sporting directors say, hey, see, we won a Champions League.
But it will, Javon.
So what do we do?
But
we
Javon,
either need to suffer or not.
But Javon, this is what I've said. They keep you here. They keep dangling the carrot. This team is never going to get to a point where it's so bad that you get whatever revolt that you're talking about. It's not going to happen. It's so ridiculous. People are talking about Quenda. People are excited for Insamino. People are excited for next season already. It's not even started yet. Penders. So let's not do this. Let's not lie.
Yeah, but Matisse, you're shameless. You're shameless.
I'm not shameless.
I'm
telling you the reality.
I'm here.
This guy kick off. This guy kick off.
Listen to me clearly. Listen to me clearly. People are always going to be excited about young players that come in because of the potential, because of what they could become, because of the talent. But the issues that we're going through right now, over the last week, again, if you look at the balance and you look at the individual errors that have been committed, I'm not talking about even age, I'm talking about quality. Young players rarely give you consistent quality because they need to develop up and down, up and down. Delap should be playing for Bournemouth. He should have gone from Ipswich to Bournemouth, then up the scale slowly. That's why people take these pathways. It's not just created for no reason. These pathways are not there for no reason. So when you want to skip that to save money because you want to be ahead of the curve, which is what we're doing, you skip a lot of the development. You skip a lot of the red cards. You skip a lot of the inconsistency, the ill discipline. You skip those steps at a less pressurized environment where the costs aren't as high. So if you're going to skip those steps, which we continue to consistently keep skipping, then you have to expect inconsistency. And that doesn't mean the manager's blameless because he's also skipped a fucking step. Do you understand? He skipped a step. He's gone from Leicester to Chelsea.
Matisse, you do realize Dean Huijsen went from Bournemouth to Real Madrid. You do realize that, right?
And how is he doing that Real Madrid?
He's made mistakes.
And how is he doing that Real Madrid?
He's made mistakes.
He's at a hard start.
Nobody wants to pay attention. Huijsen's making mistakes as well.
But this is what I'm saying though. This is all well and good saying all of this, right? But you should have never come out in the summer even thinking Chelsea would finish second. I don't care if you want to. Hold on, Matisse, because I understand your logic. And
how many points are we behind second right now?
With our best 11, and you're saying with our best 11 this and our best 11 that, right? You have experienced Maresca long enough to know that he rotates the team. Yeah, you've experienced these players like Lavia, like Reece, yeah, like Fofana for long enough to know that these guys are gonna have to get rotated because of their injury history.
Where did you put us?
So you should know as a smart guy. I know you're smart enough to know this.
Where did you place us?
That I predicted us to finish second, and then I predicted to finish, and then I predicted.
But then when we're talking in the when we're talking in the group,
you don't let me finish.
When we're talking,
I just sat here, listen to you, man.
You've come to Big Six. You've come to Big Six to compare Fofana with Saliba. You've come to Big Six to say Man City will see.
I said Fofana and Gabriel.
No, relax.
Relax.
Hold on, because I'm not going to let you come on here and play Good Samaritan. You've come on Big Six and told Big Steve, "Oh, wait for the Etihad." And then when they've come to question you properly, "Oh, I'm shameless. Oh, I'm shameless." You've
No,
come
no,
to
no, no,
Big
no, no,
Six.
no, 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 no.
You relax.
I'm coming
You've
with the
come to-
energy that
you've
you need to
come
come with to the
You've come
odds.
to Big Six
Because you
to
already know what
compare-
time is against
no,
the big team.
You've come to Big Six.
You
to
know what time
compare
is against the big
Fofana-
team.
To compare Fofana with Saliba. Oh, but I'm shameless. You've come to Big Six to make Esteval versus Yamal comparisons. Oh, but I'm shameless.
You see, look.
And now you want to come on. And now you want to come on here.
Hold on a second.
Hold on a second.
No,
Now you want to come on
we're
here
not doing this.
after
We're not
saying
doing
the
this.
same shit. You get
You're not doing
everybody.
this.
You are the one that gets everybody giddy in the group chat.
You
You're
are
the
trying
one
to
that gets
confuse the
everybody
audience.
giddy. You're the one that
You
gets
are trying to
everybody
confuse the
above
audience.
You're the
Hold
one that
on.
gets
You
everybody
see,
Nah,
Jacob,
I'm team Don, bro. I'm
You're
team
the
Don.
one-
Come
You're
on,
the
Don.
one. You're the one that
Wait,
got
wait,
Miz.
hold on,
You're the one that got Miz excited. You're the one
I
that
didn't
gets
even finish.
everybody
I didn't even
excited.
finish.
And then in the
I
same
didn't even
breath,
finish my
Oh,
point.
you know what you
I
said
get
in the group
excited
chat
all by
this week?
myself.
You know what you
You
said in
lot
the
got-
group
it's
chat?
confused
You
you,
know
man.
what you know what you
It's
said in the group
confused you,
chat?
Javon. It's
You know what he
confused
said
you.
in the group chat? And do you know what he said to Big Six when he came on the phone? Oh, I'm not surprised we lost to Leeds. It can happen. I'm not surprised we're in the top 4 race. It can happen because I don't trust tossing. I don't trust this. But yeah, you want to come on here and come and interview about
but this
squad
is-
depth. You
but
knew
this is the
Tosin
thing.
was in the squad.
This is the
You
thing,
knew
though,
Tosin-
Matisse.
You knew
This
Tosin
is
was
the
in the
thing,
squad.
though.
You
See,
know
hold on,
Maresca.
hold on.
You know
See,
Maresca rotates.
look,
You
see,
know Maresca inverts fullback.
This is
So
what
why
you
did
do.
you predict second?
This is
Why
what
did
you
Don,
do.
he's
you
pressing you, bro.
Why
Counter
did you
press,
predict
Don.
second?
Counter
Tell me
press.
why you
He's not
predicted
letting me
second.
talk.
You
He's
know
just
what
All
I
I'm
shouting.
saying
predicted.
is, all
not
of
letting
this
me talk.
happened after Don
He
made
is not
it
letting me
six
talk.
games.
He's not letting me
He
talk.
lost the
You know
first
He's
who
not
the
letting me
manager
talk.
is.
That's
You
fine.
He's
know
not
who the
letting me talk.
manager is.
He
You
didn't
know
even
who
let
the
me
manager
finish.
is. This
He
brother
didn't even let
was
me
buzzing.
finish.
Liz, when Jackson left, this guy's
You're
throwing
not
us
even
off.
letting me finish.
Oh, Hughes back. Hughes back. What the fuck
You're
did you
just
do
talking
against
ahead of
Bournemouth?
me, Boski.
What did you do against Bournemouth?
And you're
What
letting
did
me
you do
respond.
against Sunderland?
Punches, bro.
What did
And
you
you're
do
letting me
against
respond.
Sunderland?
Miss,
Bro,
I just told
man,
you
do
I
this
left the
handle
office
this game,
early.
press, bro.
I left the office early because I'm not even 100%. But I heard what Matisse was saying and whatnot, right? Let me get something straight because what people like Matisse like to do is like to confuse people. Yeah. I went on Big Six, yeah. I went on Big Six to remind guys like Big Six, not Big Six, sorry, Big Steve, right? That they haven't got KDB and these sort of guys anymore in their team. Because Matisse seems to be scared to rise up to guys like Big Steve. Yeah. I went on there to remind Turkish. Yeah. I went on there to remind Turkish what it's like when Chelsea come up against the big teams, right? But Matisse isn't going to tell the audience what I said to Turkish because I told Turkish on that same stream. I said, broski, we need to follow up that performance against Arsenal and against Barcelona with W's against Leeds and W's against Bournemouth to change the narrative, right? If you watch my content, you would know I've been saying for time now, this is the season to start to change the narratives. Because against the bigger teams, Maresca's fantastic. The players like to turn up, right? It's the little teams where certain men are below par, but at the same time, Maresca is making avoidable mistakes time and time again, right? Eunice was spot on. Eunice was absolutely spot on because that same issue that you've got with Maresca, Eunice, is the exact same issue I had with Poch, right? Poch used to think about the opponent way too much instead of thinking about the team, our team, bro. Think about your team first. Think about your team's strengths first, right? Why are we overthinking about Leeds and overthinking about Bournemouth and overthinking about Atalanta when we've got guys like Esteval in the team, bro? You got guys like Caicedo in the team. You got guys like Reece in the team, yeah? Andre Santos, who was fucking team of the year in France last season, can't get a fucking minute because you're shit against Leeds, right? Was he the only person that was shit against Leeds? Yeah? Enzo's getting run into the ground, but Santos gets dropped and restarts ahead of him. Gusto is starting in a 10 position, in the 8 position ahead of him. He's coming on ahead of him, right? Gusto fell off a cliff last season because Maresca was using him in advanced positions. But let's go back to that though. Yeah? Let's go back to Gittins' right wing when Gittins ain't even a right winger like that, right? You've got Esteval on the bench. I'd even rather see George at right wing than see Gittins over there.
Yeah.
Yeah?
But
I
we
can't
said
look
all
at
this
what
already.
Maresca's doing right now. I can't look at what Maresca's doing right now and say you're making the best use of the squad, right?
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
Ingredients.
I said all this already.
Hold on. No, because you're talking about the sporting directors. My thing is,
I can because I've already spoken about the manager last night. I said it at the start of this stream.
We can criticize the sporting directors, bro, but you can't have this mentality of going into the season and saying, "Oh, I thought we were gonna get top 2 and compete for the league because I'm looking at the likes of Lavia and that."
No, I
when
said
you
we
know
have to.
yourself,
No.
hold on. You said with our strongest 11, right? We can come up against everyone. But you already know what time it is with Chelsea because Chelsea, bro, we rotate a lot. Yeah, we've got a fucking lot of players. It's us and Arsenal that probably have the deepest squads in the league, right? He was always gonna rotate. So you must have predicted that, thinking in your head, okay, I believe.
Can I ask you a
that
question?
Maresca- Hold on, Javon. I believe that Maresca is going to use the squad well. And for me, this December, I am seeing the same errors that I saw from Maresca last December, right? I don't think he used the squad to the best ability that he could have last season. And I'm seeing the same thing this time around, bro. Why did you waste everyone's time against Leeds playing Chalobah at right back? For what? Yeah? For what? Yeah? He decides to bring on Gusto second half. We start to look a bit better, but quality again lets him down. Yeah? And you didn't even let me finish. I predicted we'd finish second, Matisse. After the window, I changed my prediction to third, right? I said, Arsenal now are going to finish above us because they've signed Eze. They've done a little bit more business. We didn't see a centre-back, right? Obviously, the whole thing with Colwell and whatnot, I said, we'll finish third. Man City look like a mess right now. Liverpool win the league, right? But I'm sorry, bro. Maresca needs to use the squad a lot better than what he has been. I was there at fucking Elland Road. I'm seeing Esteval getting bullied because he's got nothing. He's got no one overlapping him, helping him, bro. But I'm not allowed to look at the manager. I should look at the squad again, right? It don't matter. I have seen top players. I was watching PSG under Poch, and Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe look like a horror show, right? Because of how he was setting them up. I don't give a fuck how good the players are, broski. If they're not being set up correctly, you're not giving them the best chance to perform.
Exactly.
And the level that a lot of these players are at, bro, they're not at the level where we could just be throwing them out there and say, yeah, go do your thing, because they're not at that level, bro. You know, Garnacho is not a guy that's going to be running past people the way fucking Mbappe does it or Neymar does it. So why are you not overlapping Cuckoo? Why are you not overlapping Cuckoo? Why do you keep putting Cuckoo in the same positions in the middle of the pitch when teams just congest that area and there's no space? Yeah? The guy hasn't scored a single goal since last season, bro. But you keep persisting with the same mistakes. Yeah? Why are we not seeing Gusto overlapping? We're just seeing Gusto central. Right? Why?
So
why am I seeing Enzo Fernandez
I reckon you'd give
when he's tired? Yeah?
Sorry.
But I reckon you'd give Enzo Maresca Ashraf Hakimi and he'd become a midfielder here.
So let's just
hold on, just to land on this, bro. There's so many things, Matisse, that are avoidable, bro. They're avoidable. I agree with you, bro. The quality, yes, like you can talk about Garnacho. You know, I didn't want Shirley Carter and these sort of guys, bro, right? But end of the day, they are our problem now. Yeah. You are our manager. You get paid millions a year to be a fucking problem solver. So fucking solve problems. Yeah, you're not solving problems. You're adding problems, right?
I'm gonna be real.
That's my problem.
Hold on.
With this manager right now.
So let me just jump in, right? When they hired him, this is the kind of stuff he was already saying he was going to do. Invert fullbacks. He was going to have the wingers high and wide. Everybody was doing the tactical analysis videos. They're really excited about Maresca's style of play because it's rigid and there's a system and it's not unpredictable like Poch. We're not playing chaos ball. We're not conceding record goals. We then persist to recruit players that can't play in his system, which is the system everybody bought into that wanted him, that did their extra research and did their advanced, UEFA licenses and whatnot. So then we're saying that the players that are playing within this system can't play in it, and we need to do something different as opposed to his system. So he needs to be tactically versatile to coach multiple different systems and different ways of playing, which I agree with. He should be able to do that. But he already told you he's rigid and he likes to play with his fullbacks inside. So either you recruit for a manager that plays this way and you get yourself a proper number 9, not a false 9 who needs wingers to come inside and run off him and score goals. You get yourself a proper 9 to play to, like in the mold of a Haaland, and then you have those creative wingers, but they need to be bloody better than what we have because our wingers are not good enough for being touchline wingers and being isolated. They're not Rafael Leao's, etc., whatever. Even of those profiles. But let's just get back to the second thing. Last season, Arsenal finished second with 74 points. Man City third with 71 points. Chelsea in fourth with 69 points. Chelsea finished 5 points behind second, but this is what we want to argue about. Newcastle finished fifth with 66 points. Aston Villa finished seventh. Sorry. Newcastle finished fifth. Aston Villa sixth. Both of them on 66 points. And Forest seventh with 65 points. Chelsea were 4 points away from finishing seventh last season. And they were 5 points away from finishing second. So I don't need to do the maths. You can do the maths in the chat on the gap between seventh and second. But you guys want to keep going on about second. I said I said multiple times when I said second, I said we are capable of finishing second And I think the points gap from 2nd to 4th between those teams will be very close. There was no title race last season. Just because you say 2nd, and this is what you have very mistaken.
You said we're going to compete as well. That's what you said.
I said, no. I said we have to compete, and we still do. Saying we're going to compete and we have to compete is two different things. I say we have to compete because that's the pressure that this board and this ownership should be under with the amount of windows they've had, regardless of the reality of the window that we failed. So when I'm putting out a video saying we failed the transfer window, that's not in line with we are going to compete, is it? No, we have to compete regardless of what I think of the signings and the window, because
you're bottling.
No, I'm not bottling it. Listen to me. Listen to me. Because when the signing, no. Listen.
That's a wrong way to go about things.
No,
you can't
care. I don't care what you listen.
I don't look because they've been here for 3
off again.
I
just wanted to ask one question.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I just wanted to ask one question. You're going on it again. I just need to understand.
You're not listening.
You believed it,
Listen,
you believed it.
I believe in our best. No. I believe in our best players, right? I do not believe in our recruitment in the window. Hence why I said we failed. Yeah. So you need to understand the nuance, because this is what your problem is. You think it's black and white. When I
don't
say
think it's black and white.
You do. And you
I don't.
And for people that can't hear, they're like, oh, he's been a politician. Listen to me, because I've just explained it. When you sign players that are not up to their level and I give my opinion on it and get crucified for it, about Garnacho, about Gittins' valuation and why are we buying him, about all of these things. But then I say, whatever, go and prove us wrong. Go and overperform. Go and prove us wrong. We have to finish in a title race. We have to compete, because that's how long we've been doing this journey. That's how long we've been spending the money. That's how long we've been on this, 4 windows and then we'll do it. You have to say, okay, my opinion is my opinion on what you've done, but this is what the standard is. This is the level. So this might be a 4th best squad. It might be a 5th. It might be a 3rd. It doesn't matter, because as I've just gone through the points tallies, we're not here to discuss 5-point, 6-point gap between 2nd and 7th. I don't care. I don't care, Don, right? 2nd is not an achievement. 4th and 4 points behind second, right? 4th and 4 points behind 2nd is not an achievement. If it's going to be close anyway, it doesn't matter. The target is 1st. If you didn't hear me say this team is capable of winning the league, if you didn't hear me say we are going to win the league, it shouldn't matter to you whether it's 2nd or whether it's 7th. Because like I just said to you, the points are very close. It's about points. What is the points target? I said this is a 75 max points kind of team. If it becomes an 80, wow, then you're cooking. But it's not. So, like we've always said, the standard is this, and then what we're actually doing is that. But again, when you're actually saying,
can I ask my question, please?
When the players
please ask my question?
You're a criminal. You're a criminal. and you need to understand, you're very good at overrating certain players. You could talk about me all you want. In terms of the way I go about things, but you're very quick. Listen to me. You are very quick to compare our players with other players. You're very
name the players I've overrated, bro.
You even compare Caicedo to Rodri, bro. Like, you're so quick to say this team can't.
Is Caicedo not the best midfielder in the world right now,
bro?
Matisse, Caicedo is better than Rodri now. Rodri was good. Caicedo is better than Rodri now.
Hold on.
So whoever overrated? Name the players overrated.
This is the thing. That you're talking about a treble winner. You're talking about a Premier League winner. You guys are too fast.
So Rodri won it by himself.
No, he didn't. He
was.
But the same way. It's the same way. No, but listen to me. It's the same way. No, we're not. You know, this is what I'm saying. So because I say that now, Caicedo's not a world-class player. Listen to what I'm saying. It's
You're backtracking, bro. I'm saying Caicedo's the best midfielder in the world right now.
Listen to what I'm saying, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. It's the same people in the chat that will say, oh, Cole Palmer, he's like Hazard. Don't put people with other people until they've got it done first. We have to win.
Palmer world class on the Big Six early.
Yes, but he's not Hazard. This is what some people in the chat will do. I didn't say you did. Listen to what I'm saying. People in the chat will say, oh, but maybe Hazard might be better than maybe Cole Palmer will be better than Hazard. Maybe he's better than Hazard. I'm seeing disrespect for players that have done done stuff at the top level. Let them do it first as well at the top level before you start nitpicking at other teams and saying, "Oh, see, we're just like these guys. We haven't done anything." You sound like Arsenal fans. On God, when you're doing that, you sound just like them. Because what you're doing, no,
I
because
just wanted to ask one
what
question.
you're doing, what you're doing, what you're doing, bro, is
It will never end.
no, because what you're doing is you're putting people on a pedestal, you're putting them in conversations because of form and because of right now what they're doing. Don't get me wrong, the talent's there, but you have to actually finish the job off. And until we finish the job off as a team, there's a certain level of respect that we cannot command. And whether you guys like it or not, this is just the same shit I say to everyone. You can't say to others, "Oh, but you didn't win this, you didn't win that, you didn't win this, you didn't win that." And then when we failed on our commitment, which is to challenge for the league, suddenly, oh, it's backtracking. No, it's not. It's just an evaluation.
You know what? I'm done respecting others, bro.
Chat,
I'm
can I
done
ask my
respecting
question?
other teams, bro. I'm
Let me
done
just
respecting
respect
other teams.
It's perspective, bro. Why are we out of the title
Am
race
I
in
allowed to ask my
December?
question, chat?
Hold
Why
on,
we
Jacob.
out-
Let me just respond to what Matisse just said, right? Because you just said I overrate our players. I've asked you to name the players that I've overrated for one, yeah? And number two, we've never had a conversation about, oh, Caicedo is better than Rodri in terms of their attributes as a player, right? The conversation has always been, for me, you can't talk about Rodri right now because Rodri can't fucking stay fit, yeah? He can't stay fit right now. And as it is right now, I believe, and many Chelsea fans believe, that Caicedo is the best midfielder in the world. That's a fair take, yeah? I've heard you in the Big Six come out and say Palmer's world class, right? I haven't even come on camera once the whole time Palmer's been here saying that it's world class. I'm still waiting a little bit to call him officially world class. You called him world class and Tobes cooked you about that, right? You said Sancho was the best left winger in the Prem and you got cooked for that one as well, right?
Retracted it after a week.
Yeah. So let's talk.
I was being shameless. I was being shameless.
Hold on. And you're saying about the
I was
Gabriel.
being shameless, Don. That's my
And
way
what
out.
I actually said about Fofana, if you actually listen, because you're saying about listening, right? If you actually comprehended what I said about Fofana, I said Fofana is our version of Gabriel in terms of the profile, because Gabriel defensively, what he brings to Arsenal is very similar to what Fofana brings to Chelsea defensively, right? Not once did I say Fofana is better than Gabriel or this, that. I never said that. And this is why I say people need to listen to what people are saying and the points that they're making, right? I never said Fofana is better than Gabriel. I never said that, bro. I just said he brings that stability the same way Gabriel does, right? But end of the day, Matisse, when you're talking about Maresca and you knew that he inverts fullbacks and these things, yes. But at the same time, broski, we have seen him overlapping these fullbacks at this football club, yeah? He done it literally against PSG, yeah? He done it. I remember going to Palace away last year when Sancho, funny enough, ironically, did that thing through the legs and it went to Palmer, we scored the goal. In that game, both the fullbacks are overlapping, right? There's probably people in the chat that can give examples of where he's done it. So it's not like he can't do it. In the Club World Cup, I saw Palmer left wing on paper, but when you actually look at the setup of the team, it's Cucurella overlapping.
Malo Gusto was overlapping.
Cucurella overlapping, Malo Gusto overlapping and whatnot. He's done it, right? But right now, I'm not seeing him doing that enough. It's like the fullbacks have to be inverted.
So Don, can I ask my question now?
I'm not hearing this thing of we know what we signed. No, we have seen Maresca adapt with the players that he's got and adapts with these fullbacks. At the minute, he's not using them to the best that he can. You know what I'm saying, bro? I don't think he's using the squad well right now. I'll be honest with you, lot, man. I don't think he is.
Do you think Cook?
Can I ask my question, please?
Sorry.
Go, Javon.
Man's been wanting to ask a question for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, half an hour.
Then I've been chasing you down for weeks because every show I go on, I have to answer for your crimes. I have to answer for your crimes, right? I hear it. I hear everything you're saying. Right message, wrong messenger. I take you back to your debut on the show this season, right? I told Miz straight up, do not get gassed because this is what Don does. Don, you speak with a lot of bravado.
I'm not getting gassed because of Don. Let me make one thing clear. I'm my own man. Right? I'm my own man.
You are heavily influenced. I will go with that term. You are heavily
I'm not influenced. I'm not influenced.
Why, Don, you know all of this, and yet you still tell us we can win the league? you still sell us a
Win the
dream.
league. When
I'm
that
blaming
thing
you for
Hey.
this, Don. Why
yeah,
did you
yeah.
sell people a
Don
dream?
never said that. Don never said we could win
You
the
see
league.
what I
He
mean?
never
You
said
see-
that.
you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, people?
I don't
I predicted
remember.
us third, but now I'm saying we can win the league.
No,
I
you
don't
said,
remember. I
smell
swear
blood
Don
in
never
the
said
water.
we could.
No, Don, and I quote, I smell blood in the water, gentlemen. If we get everything right,
That was last
we
season.
can
Last season, yeah.
You do this every season, Don.
You said we had the best squad in the league last season, Don.
I said we had the best squad in the league last season, but at the same time, I said to you, man, I don't think Maresca used the squad well, right? This season, I'm seeing repetition again, broski. It's like Maresca's allergic to December, the same way fucking Chelsea are, bro.
Why don't you just say that Maresca's the problem?
I've literally come here saying, bro, Maresca right now is fucking about. I'm not putting all the blame on him. I think there's a few players that are underperforming. Like Enzo Fernandez is being run into the ground. He's failing to do the basics, right? I don't think Delap's been good, but at the same time, I feel like the team hasn't really been creating for him. I feel like Palmer not being there to help Delap and Pedro has affected their game as well, because people are now doing this revisionism on Jackson. Oh, Jackson was much better than these guys, right? Go remind yourself of the chance creation in the team before Palmer even signed for Chelsea, because Palmer signed on the final day of the window. I remember, I've got receipts, talking about how I'm not seeing Jackson getting many one-on-ones. I'm not seeing Jackson getting many chances. This team aren't really creating chances, right? If you guys remember when we played Nottingham Forest at home, when Jackson missed that mad chance, the ball went over the top. That was one of the few chances that I was seeing man getting. Palmer comes into the team. All of a sudden, they build a relationship. Jackson's creating for him. Palmer's creating for him. They're bouncing off of each other. Delap and João Pedro are yet to have that privilege. They're yet to have that privilege, broski. Do I believe Palmer coming into the team will help them? Of course, right? And did it help Jackson? Of course it did. So that's another thing that I'm looking at. The chance creation for these sort of guys. João Pedro second half, starving again. Starving yesterday, broski. Where is the chances for this guy? Where have the chances been for Delap? I used to cook Jackson a lot because Jackson used to miss a lot, right?
You know Jackson was part of the chance creation, right?
Yeah.
He was part of the chance creation, but let's not act like every time he was part of the move where we was getting chances. Bro, there's times man's in the box. I'm seeing players in the box. He's there. He misses. He gets put through on goal. He's slipping. He's falling over. We missed that chance, right?
Conference League final. We're not going to forget the Conference League final. That moment, Jackson with a big touch when he was 1v1 with the goalkeeper.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to forget these things. So, end of the day, there's so many things here. You can criticize Delap, you can criticize Pedro about their game. They haven't been good enough. But at the same time, I'm looking at the team, and it seems like the team are yet to even know how to play with these guys, bro. And obviously, Palmer is a big miss because Palmer, for me, is the best 10 in the world. Matisse probably cooked me for saying that. Matisse probably cooked me for saying that.
Hold on. Is he world class or not then? Because you're saying he's best 10 in the world.
For me, Matisse, what I've said about Palmer, right? I want to see him, winning a few more trophies and consistently performing in the Champions League, and that for me to really say, okay, I think it's world class, isn't it? When I'm seeing what I'm seeing from Caicedo, I've seen Caicedo being way more consistent, broski, right? And that's where for me I'm like, okay, he's the exception to the rule. And Palmer, I'm very close to calling Palmer world class. But when you said it,
I'd say he is. I
said it when he was banging in 4 goals a game. I'm surprised.
But there was still time to go, innit? There was still time to go. I'm very close to calling him world class, right?
I hear that.
But my point is, there's a massive player we've been missing, bro. Our best creator's not been there. So that's where I was looking forward to seeing Delap and Pedro playing with him, broski. Did you get it?
How many more points would we have if Cole Palmer was playing at his best and he was fit the whole season? We could be third. Then the second prediction doesn't look so wild. But the point is it doesn't matter, because these little things we can't calculate for when we're making predictions. We can't foresee that Delap's going to be out for 8 weeks. Cole Palmer's going to be injured. This plays a part in predictions. But the overall point is do we feel like we can win the league regardless of whatever happens, or the stuff that is expected to happen, which is a few injuries? And the answer is no. Simple.
Look, there has been many instances this season where, whilst Palmer's been injured, we've looked damn good. We've looked damn good as well. Like, it's one thing that I've learned this season is that we don't necessarily. Yeah, of course, Cole Palmer's an important player. We need him back, of course. But this manager has shown me that we can also deal without him. There's enough there to deal without him. There's been times where Cole Palmer played last season and he didn't perform. How long has it been since he scored? Do you know what I mean? Like last season, his record wasn't looking good. So
What
the
there's a
bottom
scary
line
stat.
is
Sorry, there is a scary stat. This was 3 games ago, I think. That, and I don't want to read too much into it, but it is something that people will consider. Is when we've not had Cole Palmer. I'm not sure what the time period was, but we've actually won more games without him than with him, which is mad. And I don't think that goes too deep into anything, but I think it supports the point that when he's not there, we should still be able to get a job done.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, here's the question before we go to Super Chat and wrap things up, right? It's been a fantastic show. I think we needed to get everything out of our chest. Lads, we've got Everton next. We've got, I think, Aston Villa in the Premier League, and we've got Newcastle. I think in between that, I don't know, we might have Paphos or, I don't know, some other...
It's Paphos. It's Paphos.
Carabao Cup, I'm not really sure. Paphos. Start with Eunice. We'll go to Don. We'll go to Javon. We'll finish it off with Matisse. Eunice, so what now? Like, what's your feelings? Like, where are you at with the fixtures that's lined up? Where are you at?
Look, the tangibles that we can control right now is Maresca doing the right thing, right? Which is, again, I don't want to make it sound too basic, but going back to basics and just having everyone in their position against the teams that we should be controlling anyway. I think that's key. If we even think of overcomplicating against a team like, even Everton are in form right now, and they're going to bring a lot of aggression. And that game does concern me a little bit because that's got a 1-1, for example, written all over it, and we need to win. So that then after that scares me. I'll be real. St. James's, I mean, even when we're good, like, yeah, you can almost just write that fixture off because Newcastle decide to turn into Real Madrid in their prime when they show up against big teams at St. James's Park. And then Villa, who right now, if you're talking in terms of who is the most consistent football team in the league, it's Aston Villa. It's not even Arsenal. Arsenal come after them. It's Villa. They've won, I think, 9 out of the last 10 or something. They're on it. And this is, again, when you look at Aston Villa, we talk about personnel and the players that they have and all of this, right? When you look on paper, they don't have like, oh, wow, that's an unbelievable team. But when you see them play, it's A to B as quick as possible. And they're so efficient and they know exactly where everyone is. And it's mad. That game against Arsenal was, funnily enough, I predicted Aston Villa to win 2-1. And it happened because I expected Villa to play in the way that they played. But they do that irrespective against a big team or a small team. And they're going to give us a hell of a game. So I got to be honest, right now, unless Maresca decides to go to the things that make sense and predominantly playing everyone in their positions and just not over-tinkering, that's the starting point for me. After that, we can see what happens. But that's what needs to happen. If not, we're going to struggle against all three games.
Just before I go to Don, Eunice, I'll just quickly say my point. I back this manager, always have, but in the next 3 fixtures, if we don't see a positive outcome, and by that, if we don't at least get 7 points out of the possible 9, this season's about to go down the drain. And at what point do I say, okay, no, it's all good, it's all fine and dandy, it's okay, we'll go again next season? And what do I do? Like, I can't get rid of the owners and I can't get rid of the sporting directors midway through the season. I need him to at least get the best out of this squad. Don.
Bro, I'm just deflated, man. Honestly, bro, I got offered, tickets to even go to the game on Saturday. I said, bro, I'm not spending money on these guys. I don't deserve my money right now. That's how I'm feeling about these guys right now. I'm telling you, right? Because I just feel like Maresca's gonna fuck something up. I feel like someone's gonna do something mad at the back. I just feel like offensively we haven't really been scoring many goals at the minute. You know, he just needs to go back to the basics, bro. Like, I don't get why, you know, Esteval is basically just out of the scene at the minute. There's no Santos. Like, just go back to the basics. You know what I mean, bro? Go back to the basics. Everton, broski, we're gonna need a little bit more width against those sort of guys. Trust your midfield a little bit more. You know what I'm saying, broski? I'm hoping Palmer can turn up in this game as well, because last game you can clearly see he just came back. You know what I'm saying, bro? But it's a must win. However we do it right now, that's what I'm looking at right now, Eunice, yeah, and Miz. However we do it right now, I don't care how we do it right now. Just get back to winning ways. We need to get this bad form away from us, because it wasn't long ago where we had, what was it, 4 wins in 5? Something mad like that, bro. Our only loss was against Sunderland in like 9 games or something. So we just need to win however we do it. However we do it right now. Just make sure that you win that game, right? And then build that confidence, build that momentum. St. James's Park, again, I'm penciling that off as an L. If we win that game, bro, I'll be very, very happy. Yeah? Because last season, I remember going there. I was in the queue going IB for, yeah? And my plane was delayed. I was watching the game in the queue. And I'm seeing Jackson doing up elbow to someone, getting sent off. Again, another red card in that game. Yeah. And ironically, we even look better than them with 10 men, if you guys remember. We actually look better than them with 10 men.
Yeah.
Every time we go to Newcastle, it's always up here. Yeah. It's always up here. We let them press the hell out of us. Guys get scared. We struggle to do the basics. Before you know it, it's 1-0. Yeah. And this time around, they haven't got Isak. But it won't be Isak. It'll be Votamidi. Yeah. Votamidi
don't do that. He's a good striker. Don't be doing that.
That's what I'm getting. Let me land Javon. Votamidi right now is moving like Vecna. Yeah, he will take our soul. He will take our soul.
Oh,
yeah?
shit.
That is Vecna. We've got Vecna coming up at Newcastle real soon. I'm telling you, people, he will take our soul if we're not serious. Yeah, and that's what always happens when we go there. When we go there, it's like we get scared. Every time we go to St. James's Park, we get scared. And I just know right now how this team is, yeah, that KDH has something for us. KDH has something for us. And it's going to be a fucking banger. It's going to be a fucking banger.
Fuck. Long range, 30 yards.
It's going to be a banger, bro. All he's doing right now is scoring bangers. So it's going to be a banger. You know what I'm saying, bro? So end of the day, like I said, bro, we should be winning that game, but are these men going to turn up? Is Maresca going to make the right decisions, the in-game management? Matisse, I watched your review before I jumped on. I'm watching Maresca closely the next few games.
100.
Very, very closely, bro.
Watching him closely all season. Javon, what's up, bro? Talk to us.
So, based on how we've been playing this season, I think we might get 9 points out of 9. You know, because guess what? All those teams you listed are in form, so quote unquote they're a big game. So because they're a big game, we're gonna get 9 points, and we're gonna be historically, Everton has been a difficult fixture for us in the December period. So the only difference is this time around it's at Stamford Bridge. So I'm gonna be honest, we're at a critical juncture where we need to turn our performances, get a winning run going. I think we start doing so at Everton. St. James's Park, I always chalk that up as a L. However, given how we've been playing the quote-unquote more difficult games this season and the same tactics that we crucify Maresca for, there are positives in it where he finds a solution. So I wouldn't be surprised if we won at St. James's Park. And who's the game in the middle?
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa.
Villa after Newcastle.
Villa is kind of touch and go for me because we don't necessarily do horrible against Villa, you know. So I'll take 6 points out of the next 9. If we get all 9, then that's a positive spin.
Oh no! Don't lose a game. Don't lose a game. Yeah, that's 2 games.
That's 7 points.
We can't lose. The gap will get 2.
Then why are you laughing when I say 9 out of 9? Then you know they're difficult games. They're big games. We'll win. You know, I'm the positive one here. Remember?
Yeah, I said 7 as well.
We're going to win the league according to that.
Yeah, man. That PB.
Matisse, final word, bro.
Bro, I just take it one
Matisse,
game.
Get to laugh the last.
I just take it one game at a time, man. I'm not worried yet about top 4. So that's why I'm maybe not going absolutely apeshit yet. And if we finish in top 4, It's all down to the cups. But that's probably what this squad is roughly a top 4, top 3 team max. When you're looking at the injuries, suspensions, all of the shortcomings from the manager, his tactical decisions, probably a top 4, top 3 team, at best, in and around there. Shouldn't be finishing below Man United or anything like that, but I don't think we will. With the next game, bruh, I'm not confident for any of the games, but it's December. So that's why, I'm not confident. I'm not confident with what I'm watching. I'm not confident with the month as a whole. I've seen much better Chelsea teams still stink it up this month. So, bro, I'm just taking it game by game, bro. I'm just praying. I'm just praying that we gather up enough points to still be roughly where we are right now by the end of this month. We're not gonna go up the table in this month. We're not gonna go up the table before Man City at the Etihad. We're not going up the table. We just need to make sure that we don't go too far down the table. But again, top 4, top 5, 3, it's all bullshit, bro. We should be talking about the league. And until we can sit here and talk about the league, we could keep arguing, keep shouting. Me and Don are going to continue to keep going back and forth. It's going to be great fun. But really, it's all irrelevant because it's all irrelevant. I'll tell you why. Because really, the only thing we should be talking about at this football club is winning the league and winning majors. And because we can't talk about that, all of our discussions are very, very
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's just going to be null and void, bro. Because I'm done with all this now. Top 4 bullshit. I don't care about top 4. Yeah. I don't care, bro.
Should be a minimum.
I don't care.
That should be just a given.
So whether some people think we're gonna make it, we don't make. I don't care about it enough to talk about it like with Vim. I want to talk about the league. So when people are saying, "Oh, we're not talking about the league," that's a problem.
We have to be careful though as well, because the Premier League this season, and when you look at the Premier League table, we're actually close to the halfway point. But look how close it is from basically the Champions League spots to 14th.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of 5 points, 6 points tops. So you slip up more than once, you could find yourself in the bottom half of the table. Yeah, and then you can come back up as much, just as quick. Like, it's so chaotic.
Yeah, look at Man United, Eunice. Look at Man United. Couple of wins.
Yeah, they're level on points with us.
If we win, I promise you, if we win the next 3 games, we're gonna go up the table.
We're not gonna win the next 3 games.
If we
drop, hey, brother, if it's a positivity. Let's start the week now.
Nah, man. I'm done with the ifs now. I'm done with the ifs now.
Nah, we're not winning the next 3 games.
Game by game. Game by game.
We're winning the next 3 games.
Game by game.
We're gonna turn it around.
I'd love to see it.
Chris got you with the ifs.
Newcastle away is. I'm sorry, that's not a win. Newcastle away is not a win.
All I want, Matisse, is like Miz said. All I want is Maresca to utilize the squad the best way that he can. So we're not even looking at him too tough. It's like, yo, he made the right decision to bring that guy on. He made the right decision to bring that guy on. There's not really much else that he could have done. But when he's leaving room for mistakes, bro, as much as the players, okay, you might not rate them like that, man, I'm gonna look at the manager. Yeah. And I want to say something as well about
I don't care if people look at the manager, by the way. I don't care. I'm just saying I don't have the energy for the exit of the manager because I don't have the confidence.
Oh, no. I'm not saying get him
to bring in. That's what
I'm not saying get him out. I'm far from there, bro. Like, listen. Yeah. All managers make mistakes, even.
But you know what, Don? The manager will exit himself if he carries on like this. But he'll exit himself.
Exactly.
You're not there with the manager. I'm there with the SDs. If I could sack the SDs tomorrow, I would. That's the thing. That's why I have the energy.
Broski. We both agree with that because there's certain decisions that they make that I don't agree with. You know, the signing of Garnacho and these sort of things. And to be fair to Garnacho, he's been decent. But again, Maresca's not been helping him enough, right? He has not been helping this guy enough, bro. Why is Cuckoo not helping him? Yeah? Even with Gittins, I see people cooking Gittins a lot, right? Yesterday, when we started the game off, I thought he was quite sharp at the beginning. And then there's times in the game where I don't see man touch the ball for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, this guy has been brought in to literally run at people and we're not providing them with the ball. Then I'm seeing after the game, Gittins is horrible. And I'm like, I'm watching the game and I barely even saw my man get the ball. Against Leeds, I saw the same thing in the first half against Leeds. He's barely getting the ball on the left. When he does get the ball again in the second half, he gets an assist and then he comes off quickly, right? Guys caught Gittins and Garnacho. Garnacho created a massive chance for Palmer to put it to 2-2, right? So there's little things like that where I'm looking at it and I'm like, come on, man. Can you trust these guys a bit more? Give the ball to Gittins more, bro, because I'm not seeing him getting it enough like that, man. I'll be real. Garnacho gets the ball so much with Gittins, is that they even forget he's on the pitch.
Yeah.
No, 100. No, awesome. No, lads, what a show. Let's quickly go through the super chat before we wrap things up. Asad, thank you so much, my man. Y'all dismissed me about Maresca woke football. Oh, shit, Asad. Oh,
When life comes at you
shit.
fast, isn't it, Hassan?
Boy, the thing about Assad, the reason why people don't listen to you like that, right, is because even after a masterclass or a top performance from Maresca, you still try cook him. You know what I'm saying, bro? That's what it is. You haven't really got a balance about Maresca. You cook him regardless of what he does.
No, true. CFC Ballers, thank you, my man. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of getting myself excited about a top 4 race. Can the owners give us a written date the year they will compete for the Prem? I honestly thought we would compete. I didn't say we would win it. We would compete in the sense that if whoever finished first would be maximum within the 10-point range. That's with considering if there was injuries and rotations. I just thought that the squad, the mentality was growing. It was growing. Don't for a second make me feel that now things weren't changing. It was changing. So I don't know what has happened all of a sudden, but yeah. Freedom, Don CFC, he's not growing as a manager. It's that simple, mate. We have quality players. We should be playing better than this. Freedom, Don. He's inexperienced and it shows. Look, we've all said that he's a rookie manager. But my thing is, you make a mistake, no problems. Learn from it. Don't make that mistake again. All right, you made it again, second time. All right, please don't make it the third time. He's made multiple times the same mistake, and that's my issue. That's my issue. Asad, big up again. Welcome to my side. Was never the SDs. He's woke. Welcome to my side. I don't think Matisse is really in your side. So I don't know what you're talking about. Talk trends. Thank you, my man. Easiest team to play right now. Chelsea, predictable system. I don't think it's that. Give us Arsenal again. Give us Man City. I don't think we're the easiest. Like they'll tell you. They'll tell you. Give us Leeds. Yeah, maybe it might be easy for Leeds. We're a very funny team. Very funny team. And I think what Eunice said earlier kind of makes sense as to why it works against bigger teams and why it doesn't work against smaller teams. Asad, once again, thank you. Teams figured him out. We go sideways and backwards. Yeah. I think there's a lot of other stuff that's going into it. I think I've done that, man. I've lost track of where I am at the moment. Mr. John Martin, we are not talking about challenging Mal. We are speaking about beating Karabakh, Leeds, Sunderland, and Atalanta. Maresca is his own worst enemy. Thank you, my man. L9s, thank you. Club World Cup gaslighted 90% of the fan base. We ain't that good. I hate seeing that gaslight. Club World Cup gaslighted us. Okay, all right, fair enough.
PTSD.
Yeah, I hate that. Jinesh, thank you so much, my man. Appreciate that super chat. CVHB, Palmer needs to win trophies to be world class, but Caicedo is already a world class without major trophies. Is better than Rodri. I don't know whether you're trying to mock that, but I think you sort of failed to understand what Don was trying to say. Is that Caicedo shows?
Yeah, I think Caicedo for me usually, bro, is 8 out of 10 minimum. Hey, can you not hear me? There's a bit of a delay.
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Caicedo, I think Caicedo's like an 8 out of 10 minimum most of the weeks, bro. Yeah, 7 at most. But I've seen Palmer drop down to 4 sometimes, 5, 6, 7, 8. And obviously last season he weren't that great. You know what I mean? So I think I'm close to calling him world class, but maybe I've just got a little bit more of a standard for attackers, I would say, if that makes sense. Whereas Caicedo plays a different role. You know what I mean? But Palmer will become world class for me. No doubts about that.
Me personally, I think Palmer's world class, but I hear what you're saying, Don. MFab, realistically, Chelsea can draw to Everton, lose Newcastle and Villa. Where we in table after that? I'm telling you this much. I think we'll be probably less than 10th. We
Yeah,
do
bottom
this, we'll be less than 10th.
Yeah.
Bottom half. MFAB, thank you so much. Maresca is top 6 manager. So are the sporting directors. Not going to win the league with either. Only thing is SDs can go and get a winning manager. Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. There's one. Is there one last one? Reggie Parker's coming late. Thank you, my man. It's Maresca and false depth. All CBs are sus. Josh and Fofana ball watching on their first goal. We have 5 good players, then a major drop in talent. Fair enough, my man. Fair enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic show. It was always going to get heated off the back of some foolery. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Smash up the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to every single one of the panelists' channels. The link is literally in the description. I'll put Don's one very, very soon, straight away. You know where to find Don anywhere as well. Yeah, he's everywhere at the moment. He's doing a grand tour. So yeah, big up to everyone, and we shall see you guys very, very soon. Until next time, take care. See ya.